Welcome back to the Sutter Podcast. I got my co-host Mark here.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing today?
Great, swell.
Love to hear it, Mark. Anything you want to talk about before we get into the task at hand?
I mean, I kind of did. It's kind of what I was explaining to you in car with work. But
Go ahead.
I don't think
give people a quick rundown of.
Okay, so I work at a restaurant. If anybody who doesn't know, and I usually on Saturdays work a double, so I work from 9 to basically whenever I get out, which is probably 11:30, which is what I did get out for Saturday. And usually
9 a.m.
Yeah, 9 a.m. till freaking 11:30 at night. And usually for lunch, which is the morning part, which is just from I think 11 to 3:30, we usually do events. A lot of people usually want to have events during that time period, So this Saturday we had 3 events actually that happened. We had a bridal shower, we had a baby shower, and we had a bar mitzvah
At the same time?
Yes. So I didn't tell you that part, but yeah, all that was happening. It was just the worst part was the bar mitzvah, because the other parties weren't really causing us trouble. The only one that was probably causing a little bit was the bridal shower, because they were upstairs getting, a little litty.
They frozen margs,
they was getting it in. They had
baby showers probably just gifts and food,
yeah. So they was fine.
Bar mitzvah, they trying to fucking
it was. Yeah.
That's Greek people, right?
I don't know. I think
What's oppa?
Isn't it?
Is that Greek?
Don't you?
I think that's Greek.
Maybe. I thought
there's a
thing
Jewish
with the chair,
thing.
Right?
That's Jewish.
Isn't that what bar mitzvah is?
Yeah. Which is Jewish.
Oh, okay.
We did that at our prom, which was pretty funny.
Really? I can't even remember.
Not the
yours.
one in my high school.
Yeah.
The songs they make you want to shout.
We
had a kid on the chair. We were just carrying him through the building.
I'm not Jewish. Why am I up here?
That shit was lit.
But yeah, so we had that, and we had bar mitzvah in the past, and they were pretty chill, whatever. They could be a little bit of hassle just because the amount of people, but
kids,
it was fine,
It's expected.
And yeah, there were some kids on other ones too, but it wasn't as bad. This was terrible. Oh my God. When I mean to tell you, these kids, if you know any middle school kids that are just, out of control, they say shit that's just watch your mouth, just stupid stuff. That's literally the kids that we were dealing with. They were freaking, as soon as they got there, they all got on their phones, or whatever. I went at first one time to ask
TikTokers?
them. Basically, they were all on TikTok for the most part. Anytime you went outside, you just heard them basically on TikTok.
Renegade.
I was so annoyed, man. And whatchamacallit, for the most part, I went out there at one point to ask for the drinks. They looked at me like I was fucking crazy, and they didn't say a single word to me. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna beg you and ask you for what you want to drink. Y'all can fucking starve out here for all I care. I don't care. So I just went back inside and just went about my job, doing what I do. So that was just that part. But again, long story short, every time you went out there, they were just being menaces to society. They were just acting up, causing trouble. At one point, they ended up breaking a bunch of glass. I cut myself. You can't see it. I cut myself with my thumb because of that. And they were just acting up. Food everywhere. They had chicken fingers and fries. Fucking chicken fingers on the floor.
That's not even a messy food.
But they just throwing it everywhere, just being stupid. They're just doing the most. So they're throwing shit. You got ketchup on the floor. There's ketchup on some part of the walls. It was insane. And
where were the parents?
They were so we have a tent that's outside too, but it's at another, it's in the parking lot kind of now. And it's not that far away, but it was that idea okay, let's let the kids have their phones, put them in this section, so that way they're not, feeling, bored or whatever. Just
unsupervised though?
Exactly. That's where we didn't think of, but we didn't think these kids were going to be like that. So they ended up worse. So we were all upset, as far as my coworkers, my managers, upset how they were acting. We ended up one of our managers ended up going to the parents, telling them yo, they're acting up. They had to come 3 times to tell them to settle down, because it was just, they were causing a mess and just causing so much of a disturbance and messing shit up. Because it's bro, we have this isn't just a thing that we set up for y'all. This is something that's part of the restaurant. This is for something we're going to use later tonight, and y'all are making a mess, and we have to clean up all this shit, and y'all just act like y'all don't care, doing whatever y'all want. So it was just that bad. And yeah, we brought the chicken fingers out. They're screaming at the top of the line, oh my God, chicken fingers. I'm just bro, what the hell? I told you there was another kid who was grabbing another kid's head, putting it to his dick.
Crotch area.
I'm just yo,
dick.
What is dick? And I was just man, what is going on, bro? I like at that point I was just like, bro, I don't think I ever want to do a bar mitzvah
Mitzvah
party
again.
again because those kids, it was the worst. I thought it would have been like chill. It was the complete opposite, but that was my Saturday for the most part.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I mean, a part of me is like, I want to go to like one, like a legit one where it's like fire, like lit. Like, you've seen like Lil Uzi at that one wedding recently?
Didn't.
I think it was like a Middle Eastern wedding type of thing, and they were just all just like in a line, like dancing and
I feel
shit.
like I did actually.
And like I want to do that type shit. Like I feel like that'd be mad fun if you're a
Yeah.
part of it. If you're like
True.
working it, I'm sure it'll suck if people aren't
Yeah.
respectful.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like that to me, that's fire. Like,
Tripping.
like
If I had a bar mitzvah and I saw people working, I'd be like, yo, put the food down, bro. You were
Yeah,
coming
like,
in
we
the
lit.
joint. You're coming in the joint.
you want some tenders?
Come in, yo. And get lit, you know.
But yeah, I mean, from what I was hearing, it sounded like you had every bad kid from a class just like
Yes,
in one room.
that's literally what it was. There was two kids that were the absolute best. Like they were literally just chill. They were minding their business. Yeah, I would have thought they weren't even their friends because the way they were just quiet and chill, I would have thought they didn't even know them. Like, but they were there and they were
probably
just.
don't even fuck with them. They were just probably got forced. Like they got invited there just to be nice. But
I
like,
guess because they were
cool as
just
shit.
to the side. They ate their food. They asked me nicely, like, "Oh, can I get another Shirley Temple?" Or "Oh, can I get a Sprite?" Or "Oh, can I get a lemonade?" I was like, "All right, cool,
Whatever
yeah,
you want, bro.
yeah." I was like, "Cool,
You
yeah."
cool as shit.
Because they was just chill, man. But the other ones, oh my God. And it was like about 20 of them. Like it was literally 20 of them. And out of those 20, 2 of them were fine. So it was a lot. But yeah. That's how it is to work at a restaurant.
See, like, I know, like, we're not teenagers anymore. So we're like getting, like, we're in our early 20s now. And like, we're getting older, you know?
Yeah.
Which is weird to think of. But like, it's just the truth. Like, and I've tried to think, like, a lot of times when I hear this shit, I'm just like, yo, like, let me think back when, like, we were that age. And, like, we were nothing close to, like, I'm not even trying to be biased or, trying to sugarcoat shit. Like, we were never like that.
No, yeah.
At all.
We were all saying
we were
that
those
too.
2 kids.
Yeah, we were all saying that. We were like, bro, like, our parents would never let us get to this, like, let alone just raising our voice. Like, they would never get to that point. And the way they were acting, it was just, I just felt like literally at home, they were the parents because the way they were acting, it was just like, bro.
There was no
And then
discipline.
at one point, there was one of the dads and he was like not outside, but he was just like looking from a distance at them. And Seth, he was like telling me, he was like, yo, like, what is he doing? He's like scared to like talk to the kids. Like, he's like over here scared, like they like intimidate him or something. Like,
you guys stop.
yeah, like, bro, get in there, tell them like what to do. Like, why are you like scared of them, bro? They're kids. Like, I don't know, man. So that's just how it was for that part. Yeah.
Yeah. That whole, like, there's a lot of shit that I'm just like, yo, like, I'm really trying to like think back. And like, it was never that way.
It may have been like once or twice, but we knew like at some point, like we knew like what the consequence would be if like acting that way would even like, you know, amount to.
I can't even remember once or twice. Like, I think that's just being generous.
I feel like it probably happened like maybe once or twice, but it wasn't anything too extreme, you know? Like,
yeah.
So
I don't know. There's a lot of for a transition raging going on there. And this is perfect to fit in. I'm glad you brought this story up because what we really want to talk about, and we had a mini conversation as we were like setting up here with somebody else, was about the Astrofest. What was the
Astroworld Festival, you know,
thing going on there. And like, obviously this was Friday that just passed. By the time this comes out, it'll be like a week or so ago. Yeah. So we'll have more info will be out after we talked about this. So, you know, whatever, like there'll be more details about everything. So our opinions are going to be kind of dated on the situation. But just before what's your general understanding of the situation? Like, what are your thoughts on it before we get into this conversation?
So my thoughts, as soon as I saw it, I was in shock.
I sent you like at like 3 a.m. or some shit,
yeah,
right?
it was like really early, and I was like so surprised to honestly see it. Yeah, so like my first response to it, just initial, was like looking at it was, I was just so surprised and shocked as to what I saw. I couldn't believe it. And yeah, just like the shocking was just like the amount, you know, like of people.
Bro. Like usually it's like
it might just be like one,
and it's like holy shit, like this is really bad.
Yeah, it's just one, and really, I was like 8, and who knows? It probably,
like
it probably
8 is
a little
like
bit more, you know, honestly.
an estimate.
Yeah, exactly. So just to see that, I was just shocked to hear that. And now going a little bit further as to like how the weekend's been and how it's gone, you know, there was just things as far as like there was somebody in the crowd or whatever.
A lot of allegations.
Yeah. So there was things as far as people injecting other people with, you know, drugs, needles and stuff like that were, you know, killing people. But overall, what you're hearing a lot of is just, you know, the idea that, okay, like, there's a lot of blame going on Travis Scott due to the fact that he wasn't, you know, I guess paying attention or giving any like, you know, attention, you know, to the actual stuff that was happening as far as people passing out and things happening like that.
Yeah. Which is expected just because his name is on, like, it's Astroworld, you know, like
it's his. He's the host.
Travis Scott's Astroworld, like it's
his.
He's
thing.
the headliner.
He's the host. Yeah, you know, of everything. So. So anybody who doesn't know, like I really do love Travis Scott. So it's like me seeing this, I'm not even trying to be biased. Like I do see from a lot of people, both hands, you know, like both sides of the story, how one way can look one can look another. But at the same time, I'm still just always thinking, you know, like everyone's proven, you know, innocent till guilty. And it's just like, for what's coming out, I feel like nobody should just automatically just be like, yo, like, fuck Travis Scott, like, you know, for everything like that as far as like what's happening.
I mean,
so
people take it to the extreme.
You know, yeah. And I'm trying to really have an open mind about it. Like, don't get me wrong, if it's like really true that like, yo, like he like just completely just wanted to, like didn't care about that, I'd be like, yo, that's like so fucked up. Because what I was telling like Seth when I first heard about this on the ride to work, because that was like Saturday when like it kind of came out. I was just like, bro, it's like so scary to think like, you know, imagine you're like somebody who doesn't live there, but you're flying out there.
Yeah, like
you know, and then
make it a whole thing. Like,
make it a whole thing. You're flying
Fest.
and you end up dying. You know, like, and then I was just thinking, like, bro, imagine you told your parents, "Yo, I was going there." They're like, "Okay, cool, you went there, and now you
don't
even coming back." Like, that's just so scary to think about. Like, yo, your kid's not even coming back. You know, from something like that. So I was just thinking, like, bro, that's so scary to think about. You know.
And most of the kids, like from what I understood or what I was seeing, a lot of them were like younger kids, like under 18. They're like, I don't know. There's a lot to unfold here. I'm just gonna let you like keep going.
No, I mean, it's just that's kind of really it. It's just like I'm not really on one specific side. Really, like again, I'm trying to keep an open mind about it, and I'm trying to hear out, you know, a lot of people and you know their thing. But I don't know. It's just.
It's unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate to hear.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say about it. Overall, like I don't like what you said of how like there's a lot of people just saying like fuck only Travis Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't agree with that. He does have some blame. And how do I put this? It was just a perfect storm in a sense of just like bad preparation, the type of music and like what his concerts are, like they're like notoriously known for being like, oh, like rage, like go all out, like just have a good time. And then just obviously alcohol and drugs that are usually included in these things. So obviously like what we heard was it was understaffed, which is a bad start already because it was 100,000 people. It's a lot.
Exactly.
To have, if anything, your first thought is like, well, you know how many tickets you sold. So it's like, damn, all right, we might need more people, more security. So that they fucked up there. 2, I heard that like the security checkpoints were basically bullshit. Like there was no effort there.
It's almost like how like almost like Made in America is, where it's like, they're just really ass.
It seems like they just kind of like they wanted to see you had your wristband and you went in. You could have had a fake one. You could have had anything on you, and they wouldn't have known until it was too late.
Mm-hmm.
So bad preparation there. And now I don't know. I'm assuming Travis had some type of say in that. Like I'm assuming like I don't know how much hands-on he was with the event. I'm assuming a lot of it was like on the artistic point of like who was going to be there and like what the stage were going to look like. I don't know how much of a hand he had in like prepping like the area and like security. So if he didn't at least check on that, he's at fault. And if he was like a big part in it, even worse. Because like that was just poorly done. So that right there could have prevented a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
2, you know what the area is. You know what like that's like the area was like the NRG Stadium or whatever. So they've held tailgates and shit before. That's where the Houston Texans play, I believe. So like, you know how much the area can handle. If you let it get to a point where it's 100,000 people and you don't think you can handle that, don't do that. Like, that's what I was talking about too, in the thought of like, we just went out for our friend's birthday. And like, I get like places need to make money, but like there has to be also a point of like people's safety and just being like, yo, like, I know we want to have as much people as possible to make money here, but also it's like, it's not smart. It's for like a bar or a club, for example, to just packing people in, because one is going to be unsafe, like a super pack. Two, people are drinking. Mm-hmm. So people get drunk, people react differently. Some people, if you're too close to each other, a fight is going to break out. You don't know if that's going to be just a regular fight or a shooting. And that's already fucked up for business there. And then if you have too many people, not everybody can like enjoy their time of like grabbing drinks and all stuff. So that's fucking up money for you there either way.
Yeah.
So same thing with Astroworld. It was just like, yo, like y'all need to like think about like when is enough. Instead of just trying to be like, as many people as possible.
Yeah, there has to be a limit. You know, it's not just, oh, we have an unlimited supply. Let's just see who can get here.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I think that's just stupid, you know, have an actual limit.
And then not even including like, one, how the fuck did like a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old just get in there?
See, I didn't even hear about that, honestly.
Yeah, there was a 5-year-old on somebody's shoulders, like raging. He was fine, the 5-year-old, but there was a 10-year-old who died out of those 8. He got trampled. And when you think about something like that, where it's like, if you're at capacity, you have 100,000 people, and then festivals or concerts where it's non-seating, you know how it is. We've talked about it. Like, you talked about it when you went to go see
Don Toliver. Yeah.
Don Toliver, where the Fillmore's probably what, like 1,000, not even 1,000 people.
Yeah, probably close,
like a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Think about 100,000 people packed in. People are just assholes in general. People are drinking, on drugs. People just forget how to act. It's Travis Scott, so you fucking rage. And like, if you're in that situation, you're in the middle of the crowd. If you fall because people are, you know how it is. It's even with the Fillmore. If people are pushing and shoving, you're like, it's hard to like.
Yeah, and I feel like people like me and you, we're like all right to handle that. But there's just other people, you know, as far as like females or people who are short,
just you know, smaller people.
It's just hard. It's really just hard for people to handle stuff like that. And
if you're in the middle of that crowd and you fall in 100,000 people, where are you going to land?
Yeah.
And then if you land on the floor, where are people going to stand? On you, which is unfortunate, which is what happened. And there was a lot of different stories where people were just like falling on top of each other, and like you can't hear, you can't talk to each other because the music is black. Like, it was just
so loud. Yeah,
a shit show of just random shit where it just caused a lot of like safety issues. Was that you or me? I don't know.
I think that was
my phone's on silent. But
I put it on silent.
Yeah, shit is just wild. Like, and now it's getting. Like, it was terrible, and like, I don't know how many of the videos you've seen is super scary, bro. Like,
no, yeah, I've seen some.
Like, people on golf cars getting CPR, and like there were fights in that crowd where people were getting fucked up. And obviously, like, people were like hyperventilating or like going into cardiovascular, like, I forget the term, but like just passing out from the conditions, and you're in the middle of you're outside, and shit just gets wild. Then there was the whole thing where people were talking about people getting injected, and the police kind of confirmed that, because they were like, oh, like, we heard the allegations, we checked some people, and it seemed like they did have a prick in their neck, but they were like, we don't want to assume anything until we like do like checks or like, that's what I'm saying. Like, by the time this comes out, they're probably going to do like autopsies on the bodies and see what exactly happened there. But yeah, so that's crazy in and of itself. Like, that shit just scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Because how does that get in the building, one? And two, what was their intentions of doing that? The person, whoever it was.
Yeah. It's just crazy. You know, these like things with events, like it's the same thing that happened with that one thing that happened in Vegas.
The
shooting. Yeah, you know, it's the same like type of deal where it's just like, bro, how does that even get there? And
dude had a whole sniper like at the top of a hotel room.
Yeah, not even that. I think, what was it that?
Or like an AR.
Yeah, I think it was like an AR or something. It's just
either way.
Yeah, I know. Either way is bad. It's just like, bro, like something like that is just like, y'all need to be on top of it. Like, why are we like letting things like that? Like, I don't know. You would think like with something as far as an event like that with that many people in one place, you would try to make sure like shit is safe. So.
And then there's the whole like, you know, which there is some like little bit of truth to it. I don't want to like jump to that far, like the conspiracy part of it of just like, oh, like, was this like a ritual type thing, or like what was going on here? I don't know if you've heard about that.
I do.
But like there's been accusations of just like, oh, like they knew this was planned. So like that ties into like either people were saying either Travis and like the music industry part of it was like, oh, like this was intentional. And that's why there's these videos that makes it seem like Travis didn't care. And his apology, which we're going to talk about in a second, because that shit.
Yeah.
Something else. But either Travis had part in it or like whoever like attended and like I guess whoever would have like known that there's a lot of people, they're like, oh, like let's go and like fucking inject people or whatever the fuck was going on or hand out drugs or whatever it could be. So people were like comparing like the Astroworld album cover to like some other satanic shit, which is like it matched up, but it's also like I defended that part because Astroworld is like based on the actual amusement park that used to be there, and there's this like it's the picture is like he just made his head the entrance, and like it's very similar there. So I'm not jumping super crazy into that, and I'm not like a super like know all about that shit person, like spiritual and all that shit. So I'm looking at like an expert. Then there's also like people are like, oh, he didn't stop after people tried to stop him. And then there are videos at one point where he's like, yo, like that guy's like people move out of move out the way, don't touch him, like get the paramedics in. Like he did stop at some point. But then there's another video after he's getting wheeled off where he's just like doing his like Autotune shit. Yeah. So it looks mad satanic.
Yeah. I don't know.
And there like even like we grew up in that type of time where like everybody just assumed like, oh, Illuminati, like music, this and that. Like Kanye's forehead got a triangle on it, like Illuminati.
Yeah.
So like, and there is partial truth to it. Like there has been times where like people have talked about those types of stories, and like if they talk too much, shit coincidentally kind of happens to them or people around them. Mm-hmm. So like I will say like I feel I don't know how far like the conspiracy goes, but I do think there's some truth to some of the shit they be saying. Like even the girl like how about that? Like that girl from Dr. Phil, she said like obviously she has like internet fame and like there was certain shit there, but she said at a certain point like she started getting invited to like certain parties and like the weird shit that like people talk about, like she was like it's for real. Like I can't name. She was like I can't name names just for my own sake, but like she was like I had to get out of that shit because shit like genuinely got weird. Like she was like not just like oh like drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. I feel like we'll learn more and more and they'll get kind of covered up, which is unfortunate. Yeah. But it's a lot going on there. So he went on his notes app and just typed up an apology and sent it out that day or something, or that night. Then the next day or that whenever he got the chance, he did like a video where apparently he had the worst headache to ever exist because he couldn't take his hand off his fucking forehead. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did.
Very like I don't know. I feel like.
So this is my thing. I saw that and I was like, okay, and a little like I guess unsure as to why he did it the way he did, but I'm just thinking of it this way. In my point of view, something like that happens. It's very like crazy, and you're in shock to see something like that. Again, like we both said, it's like his festival. He's hosting it. It's his name, and to think that something like that happens, something that you created, as far as to think to make sure everybody had fun, and it went completely south, went the whole other way. I'm just thinking as far as like he's trying to get it out there, and he's just trying to just speak from his heart. But again, let's just be honest, some people as far as like in the music industry aren't like, so well spoken as far as talking as like with things like that. So they're just like, sounds like when they're talking or like, trying to spit out what they want, it just sounds kind of just all over the place or whatnot. Yeah. So I'm just thinking as far as like, something like that happens and he's just like so much in shock, just trying to like get out what he can, but knowing him is probably just hard to like even like come across something that sounds, I guess, meaningful or like, compelling to people to try to like, hear. But I do understand as far as like, I feel like it could have been more, but it looked like he was just by himself trying to get it out there, as far as like whatever. But I feel like if he actually like had time, he would have. But at the same time, he probably didn't want to make it seem like it was something super scripted,
Yeah, but also like even if somebody's not well, I feel like the intent or like it'll show through like genuineness, and it just kind of seemed like why are you just like damn this shit I'm sorry rubbing my head like even if I'm like even if I'm super stressed or exhausted or whatever, my immediate thought, even if I'm just don't sound like I'm making sense because I'm just trying to get this out as much as possible, I'd be like, yo, like I am so sorry, one. 2, like explain whatever happened from his point of view. 3, whoever's been affected, like in terms of like the lives lost or whatever, like I'm covering that. Like just shit like that. Like at least being like, yo, like I'm sorry I'm all over the place, but like I'm like, trust me, I'm making sure that this is gonna be made right.
Yeah.
He didn't really do that.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There definitely should have been more, explaining it. Like I said, it felt like he was just rambling, repeating himself, just trying to kind of make it seem like, like he was sorry. But at the same time, I don't want to like say that he probably didn't have any feeling at all for it, so.
Yeah. And then there's just the people who tried so hard to stop it, like even with staff or whatever, like they were just getting ignored. Have you seen those videos?
What?
There's like, obviously it was being live streamed to like Apple Music or wherever it was. So there was camera crews booth set up. And like after you've seen it before where I think you've gone to Travis Scott before, but like in a stadium. And usually like there's the seating on the floor and then like behind there's at least like a camera filming something. So those type of setups, some girl and a guy were trying to like get that guy's attention, be like, yo, like people are dying, like stop the show, like. And the guy's just kind of like, just get off. And he like, at one point, like he's talking to her, he's like, yo, like I don't care, like get off. And the guy behind her is trying to do the same shit. And they're like getting booed and like just ignored. And then there's like millions of people like EMTs trying to do shit. And like nobody was making the effort to like stop it. And then regardless, like even if Travis himself can't hear, because I get it, 100,000 people. And even there's videos of people saying like, stop the show. Like I know you can't hear through that. It wasn't loud enough.
Oh, yeah.
But even if you're like, yo, like all this shit's going on and he can't tell himself, there has to be people backstage seeing this shit from a different perspective of being like, yo, all right, yo, Travis, like, hold on, like, time out, like, stop the show. Like, shit's going really bad. It's not just a normal, like, concert where somebody passes out and then they're okay. Like, shit's getting real. So how did nobody see, like, from his point of view, there's lights on him, music is blasted. He's focused on performing and doing his set. His people behind him should at least be covering that for him. At least being like, yo, like there's a lot of groups and like EMTs and shit going on out there. Something's bad's going on. Maybe we need to at least take a time out to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm at least hoping that was the case, as far as like them knowing. Because unless if it wasn't, then it's just the same point of view where like nobody really was able to tell. I mean, again, like you said, you saw the EMT. So at that point, like, yeah. But as far as like, hearing people or stuff like that, they probably couldn't know that part. But as soon as you start seeing like a lot of shit happening with like, like you said, the EMTs or anything like that, that's where it's probably like, yo, like cut everything off.
And then even then it's like, there's the cameramen, there's stage managers, there's people backstage that can see, like they're focused on something different. Like they're just looking at the crowd, looking at the show. Like they're not focused on other shit. So they could be able to pick that shit out. And if you have security walking around the area that's what's expected. Even if you have like the CSC event staff towards the front, like those guys should be able to be like, yo, like something's popping off. Like we need this and this.
Some type of communication, through everybody.
So like why did nobody, like it seemed like it was just mainly the fans doing all that shit.
Well, you did say, you said it was understaffed, but again, even then, that should be somewhat of enough.
Which is also just partially something that they should have worked on.
Yeah. So I don't know how it's really going to get solved or just like settled, really, But I definitely like feel bad for everything as far as like what happened to people, and I feel like definitely like those people should be taken care of, like not one of them should just be left out or anything like that.
Yeah, it was just poorly ran. I mean, from our point of view, not that it helps, but sorry to like the families or whoever was affected. Yeah, it's a bad situation, bro. Like, and then I don't know. It's like everybody's getting sued. Like they even tied Drake into it because he came out at that like ending part of it, and Live Nation because they like ran the ticket part of it.
Yeah, ran it.
And at the end of the day, hopefully the families are like taken care of. Hopefully they don't get fucked over by whatever lawsuit. Then they get what's due to them, which they definitely should get, like reparations or what the fuck, like just like they should get their whatever they need and whatever they ask for, because it's obviously somebody did something wrong and it wasn't the fans' fault.
Yeah, no.
We're like regardless of like, oh, like you expect, if there's like maybe an injury or something like that, something separate. But like when you go to a concert, you don't expect, oh, I might lose my life.
No, yeah, that's the worst. You shouldn't be thinking about that,
So hopefully that gets done there. But there's so, like, unfortunately, there's so many like big companies and like big names attached to this that like they're gonna be okay. Like Live Nation's gonna be okay. Any sponsors or any like companies that were tied to it, they're gonna be all right. Travis is most likely gonna be okay.
I'm just more worried about just like again the people that it affected.
Yeah, so like hopefully they get their stuff situated, but I've been hearing like, oh, like they're gonna stop doing these events or whatever. I'm like, that's not gonna like if you learned anything from COVID, you can clearly see that this shit isn't going anywhere. There needs to be more guidelines in terms of like requirements.
I feel like that is something that from like here on out, it's like so much more mandatory and strict about,
for like, X amount of people you need this amount of staff, or like there's a capacity or
and if it isn't, sorry, you just can't do the show there, like because God forbid there's even one less of a staff member, that one extra person could have been at some point or some spot to actually help somebody out, and if it's not, then it's not. Like the worst thing to do is, again, like you said, like how the whole club thing is just to force the event or force whatever's happening just because you want the money or because you want it to happen. But at the end of the day, you need to worry about, are the people safe? Is everybody going to actually be able to have a good time and feel like they're actually, in a place where they can, be safe or, do what they need to do.
Yeah. So. And it seems like most likely this Astroworld like is never happening again.
No.
It can't.
Yeah,
it's fucked.
It's never happening.
And like it's gonna shake up how a lot of other fests are gonna be done though, like Dreamville Fest and Rolling Loud and Made in America and like all that shit's about to switch up, or at least you would expect for them to be a little bit scared about it, because I'm pretty sure Post Malone does one in Texas as well. It's like Posty Fest or something like that. Probably, but like obviously there's like Governor's Ball and just there's a lot of like festivals that happen, and they're not to that degree, I guess, but things are gonna switch up. Guidelines, they have to.
Yeah, you can't let stuff like this happen and then act like, just turn a blind eye to it and act like it's just like, that's the worst thing to think of, is to like have these events and think that, oh, okay, like these are things that are now just like almost expected to happen. Like that again, like that should never be something that you go and think of and that's expected. Like people die from a lot of things, but being at a concert, that's not one thing that you should be going to and thinking about when you're headed there or when you're actually there. So
and we're still in a fucking pandemic. Like this shit is not over with, and there's so many things with the festivals. Like obviously there's drinking, most likely underage as well, drugs that already get insane, people injecting people now. I don't want to fucking go anywhere to this shit like that anymore. No, that shit spooked the fuck out of me. Like why
stuff like that? No, I will never go to like an open place as far as like that was like. Especially the amount of people. Like, no, I could never do that. Like,
not to mention obviously COVID and the risk with that, and obviously not for our sake, but there's sexual assault that happens at these places, and there's there's so much shit, and for it to not be taken as serious, like I don't know, bruh.
Yeah, like I feel like if you're doing like standing, general admission standing, stuff like that, it should be more like sections, like not just hey, everybody just get in a big ass fucking circle crowd,
step on each other.
No, it should be like a section type thing, like actual barricades that separate people. You want to be in the front part of the section, you're paying extra money to get in the front part of the section.
True,
but it's not
I like that.
But it's not, hey, I'm in the back, I'm pushing my ass all the way to the front and pushing whoever the fuck there is and don't give a shit because I'm fucking on one. I'm doing like whatever it is,
I'm trying to get on stage. I'm trying to wild out.
Like no, bro. Like what the hell? Like no. Like it was like I said, the same thing for Don Tolliver. Like, oh, we got there early. We got the spot first. You're not about to come like an hour late and then just think, okay, I can get up here. Like no, we got here early because we wanted to be up here. Like that was the whole point. If you wanted to do the same thing too, you should have got here early, not just do what the fuck you want. So at the same point, it's like, yo, if you want to do these festivals, like okay, have shit sectioned out, have shit actually, figured out as far as security wise and just, staff wise, because there shouldn't be a thing where people are just mindlessly just huddled together and just, doing whatever they want. Like you're just asking for something to like, go wrong. So,
so unfortunate. Again, condolences to whoever was affected by it.
Yes.
But we're running low on time. And I just realized now that we haven't done this yet. So I'm going to do this before we get out of here. ETC is doing our first ever charity drop. It just went live today. It's still going on by the time this episode comes out. It's about another week left. 100% of the proceeds are going to Toys for Tots in the Philadelphia area. It's a Christmas sweater, pretty dope. You could wear it, it's pre-order, but we're gonna get it out to you before the holiday, so you can wear it on whenever you need it.
Yep.
It's $35. Obviously, if you can't afford it, we understand. But it is for charity, so we do want to raise some type of money. Mm-hmm. But yeah, spread the word, please. If you can't afford it, share it. Somebody else will. We hope to, hit a certain goal. So if you guys can help us out, that'd be much appreciated. It's right here on screen. Link will be in the bio. Mark, anything you want to add to it?
Like as of right now, again, like you're hearing this a week later, but we already put our stuff up on stories, the ETC page too as well. We're putting the stuff up there. So again, if you're interested, please, go get the sweater. Like we said, it's going to charity, and for the most part, we also, I guess we should mention, the idea of just the old shirts. We still have the old shirts that we have just released during, what was it, like
the summer?
What was it? It was
like August-ish.
August, end of August-ish, really. So yeah, we still have those and really dope shirts if you're new here and haven't seen it. But yeah, we have lowered those down to 30. So if you want to get that too as well, that'll really help. But yeah, for the most part, we're just letting you know that we dropped these sweaters, dope sweaters as far as Christmas, getting into the season, and it all goes to charity. So again, if you'd like to help us out, that'd be greatly appreciated. So thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. We appreciate everything. Bye.